Hey guys, what is up? Here to review another movie review, this time for a James Bond movie. Now, I reviewed Spectre. What else could I review? How about the movie before that? That came out 3 years ago, and man, it's been 3 years, and is one of my favorite Bond films. Skyfall is directed by Sam Mendes, written by Neil Purvis, Robert Wade, and John Logan, starring Daniel Craig, Judi Dench, Javier Bardem, Naomi Harris, Ralph Fiennes, Ben Whishaw, Albert Finney, Berenice Marlejo, Holy or something like that. I don't know how to pronounce that. Comment below. Albert Finney, Rory Kinnear, Ula Rapace, other people. And the movie is about a cyber terror. Like, Bond is on a mission to try. It starts off with Bond on a mission with Naomi Harris, who is Eve Moneypenny. But that's not revealed actually until the end of the film. But that's besides the point. And they go after and they try to get someone who has this hard drive containing all the identities of these of MI6's agents. However, it goes wrong when Bond, while there's a fight on a train, it's a long epic train chase, and while he's trying to fight, while there's a fight going on between the guy who has the hard drive and Bond, and Eve has a sniper and is focused on them, and she's trying to shoot the guy, but she accidentally hits Bond. Bond is presumed dead. He hides out for a while, but he turns out he's alive. He returns to England after MI6 is attacked by a cyber terrorist. And when he gets back into service, he runs into an apprentice to the main antagonist, who may have personal connections to M. And we have our film. I remember I did see this back when it first came out in theaters. I do remember parts of it, but I haven't seen it in 3 years, so yeah. So it was good for what I remember, but going back and watching it today, I absolutely love it. It is a fantastic Bond film, one of the best action films of this decade so far, and probably one of my favorite action films. Excellent blockbuster, and also it's one of my favorite films to ever cross the $1 billion mark at the $1 billion mark at the box office. It's the highest grossing Bond film to date. I think it will remain that way. Even if you have a Bond film that's up to par with Casino Royale Skyfall, I just don't think it's possible. This is it was a celebration of the 50th anniversary of the franchise. And yes, if you guys did not see my collection, I bought the first 4 Bond films. Dr. No, which came out in '62, From Russia with Love, Goldfinger, and Thunderball. Trying to get more in the franchise now. There's a ton of those at Best Buy, and they're pretty cheap, but that's not the case. This film is an outstanding action film, and the thing is, unlike those Daniel Craig films, unlike those Sean Connery Bond films, this one takes the characters seriously. And I have to say, with elements like this, so over the top or just so all out there, it takes itself seriously and it feels grounded in reality. And actually, director Sam Mendes said that Dark Knight inspired him in making this film, which also had some over-the-top, ridiculous, over-the-top, outrageous elements, but was taken seriously and felt grounded in reality. It felt realistic. This one's no exception. And actually, Sam Mendes, when you see, I've never seen Road to Perdition. I don't think there's really any elements of action there from what I've heard. I don't know much about it, like I said. I've seen American Beauty, and of course I saw Spectre. So I haven't seen a lot of his films, but it's kind of weird when you look at American Beauty and you look at this film. This is completely different, the guy, because American Beauty is a visual experience, is also driven by visuals as well, but it's more like just a comedy drama. This one is an action thriller, and he understood it perfectly. This guy really proves that he has range as a director. He's fantastic. See, the only directors I've really noticed in a Bond film is Mendes and Martin Campbell, who directed Casino Royale. Like I said, I'm not huge with the franchise at all. But 24 films in the franchise, you have a lot. And don't get me wrong, I own now 6 films in the franchise. So you take Casino Royale, Skyfall, and of course the first 4 Sean Connery films. And when it comes to this film, excellent action scenes. This is some of the best action I've seen this entire decade so far. It's some of the best action ever. Not kidding. The opening scene is fantastic. I mean, it just starts off with Bond finding an old agent and finds find their target gone. It has this epic car chase with this Jeep, and then of course it just leads to, of course there's a car crash through a market. He starts shooting people. There's authorities are being shot on motorcycles. It's some cool epic cinematography, awesome scenes. Then it takes to them that continues to chase, and of course continues with them on a Bond and the guy on a train. And of course, like Bond operates a crane, which knocks some cars on the road, cars on the ground. And he's trying to get to the guy who has a gun with a cool attachment that just fires him out like multiple rounds of bullets, almost like a Tommy gun. And then he starts chasing him through the train. Like he tears off part of the train so that he can get on top of it because one of the cars is derailed and he has to get on there in time. Epic, epic. It's a freaking, and of course they start fighting on top of a train. They have to go through a tunnel. They actually dive to go underneath it. It's riveting. And when they're fighting, and Eve is trying to get a shot, and Bond is shot, and he just hits the ground. It's awesome. And what follows after that is probably my favorite Bond theme of all time: Adele's Skyfall. Excellent, excellent one. It's just dark, but also it's just I'm just like put in that moment. I'm in that moment whenever I'm hearing that song. Adele is beautiful. Like her voice is beautiful. She's excellent. The lyrics are great. There's a sense of mystery to it in a way because you just don't know. Because what is Skyfall? What is that? Skyfall. And of course, it deservedly won the Best Original Song Oscar. Seriously, it's the first Bond. It's not the first Bond song to be nominated for an Oscar for that same category, but it's the first one to win that one. That's cool. It's a beautiful song. I like listening to it all the time. That intro's great. The use of dark colors, and it also has like a bit of like there's sometimes like some whiter colors. It almost has a bit of a noirish feel, in my opinion. If you want to, I don't know. It has a lot of dark colors. I just like. There could be some Easter eggs in there for him. I think I saw maybe like Timothy Dalton, like a shadow Bond. It's like Timothy Dalton, I think, or something like that. It looks like that for some way. Comment below if you have any opinions on that shadow that just resembles another Bond. It looks like Timothy Dalton. It's just showing at him. It's just so cool visuals. It looks beautiful, and man, I can't get enough of that sequence. I actually keep watching on YouTube because I just love it that much. I love the song that much. It's brilliant, brilliant. The entire movie also is just nothing short of that. You get epic action in between, but there's also a very good story there. It's a very strong, emotional story. See, one thing I love about this is that you get more of a sense of the character of not only Bond, but also M. Everyone in the cast is great. Dan Craig is excellent as Bond. He truly is my favorite Bond for a reason. Because number one, he has a sense of humor to him, which I also like. But also, you really get a sense of him as a character, as an actual human. Because from what I've heard before, like he was really more of just like a womanizer. Nothing really much after that. He's just more of a guy who has more of a personality and actually is more of a person. Like he is a human, and he is not perfect. Especially when you see him try to train again after he's been in hiding for a while. Like he's been off the grid, and then when he returns, you do in train sequences and also like in his like evaluation, you really see the human side of Bond. It's proof that he may be a good agent, but maybe time away from that does heavily affect him. You see a guy that's just struggling. The train sequences are great because you see the human side to Bond. And also, there's great dialogue in between. I have to say, this one has some great dialogue, especially between. Like there's some great ones, like whenever Javier Bardem is on, as Raul Silva is on the screen, between him and M, or him and Bond, and also when Bond and M are sharing conversations. Overall, the dialogue in this one is actually really good, actually great. I love it. And one thing I can say about this movie combines elements of not only the newer Bonds, but also some of the old Bonds. It does have a sense of humor to it, but also has some of these old tributes and references, I think. Made some in-jokes. You bring Q back. You have, you can say Raul Silva's a bit of a tribute to Jaws with like the way his mouth is configured, the way his mouth is, and then he's a bit deformed in a way. It's great. But I'll tell you one thing. You get more of a sense of. Judi Dench is also excellent as M. So you get, in my opinion, she really stands out as M. you see a real side to her that I guess you don't. I don't know. I haven't seen Casino Royale for a while, so I gotta know about it. But you see more just a person who has a unique personality and really creates a unique character. You see a person much more developed. You see her past. See what exactly she's had to deal with in her game as the head of M96. I love it. The character development. It's a very character-driven film. It's not really driven by action or spectacle. It's more of character, and that is probably the best way to drive it, because characters could help me. Seriously, like, sure, you can have an engaging story, but sometimes characters can help make the story engaging. If the story itself isn't that engaging, maybe the characters can make it more engaging. Chris Duckman said something related to that. I think he did a Q&A on that. I don't know which one, but I may put a link to the description below. I may not. I don't know. You'll find out for yourself when the video is posted. I also have to say that, I mean, everyone is great. Javier Bardem, holy shit. One of my favorite Bond villains. I need to watch Casino Royale again to compare him to Le Chiffre and, of course, Silva. Raul Silva is just terrifying. His monologues just leave you unsettled. And, man, you know, he's very terrifying. I'll tell you, like, when you learn more about his backstory, it's just, holy shit. He's a person that's just damaged, physically and mentally. Like, involved in the cyanide capsule, if you know what I'm talking about. Holy shit. I mean, he takes off, like, his fake teeth, and you see his actual see a bit of his, part of his face, like, drooping out there. It's just, oh god, it's terrifying. He's terrifying. He's unflinching, and you really get a sense of him as a villain. He's more than just a villain. He has more of a personal vendetta against it. In my opinion, that's just one of my favorite things about this guy. Not money or anything, a personal vendetta. And I love that. It makes him more of a human. You can see more of the human side of the guy. Brilliant. Also, Mendes' direction is great, but also it helps when you have Roger Deakins as a cinematographer. Here's the thing about Roger Deakins. He can make nighttime scenes look like night. It's beautiful. It doesn't feel distracting or look way too dark. It looks real. It's immaculate. It looks beautiful as well. I mean, Mendes helps capture the action very well, but also he relies a lot on characters and even at times visuals to drive the story. And I love that. There's some great visuals to look at. He relies on characters, and he creates some great characters. Or he just builds upon previously established characters. I just love it so much. Also, Deacon's cinematography, brilliant. And there are times where you also get to see, like whenever in the subway scenes, I think it really stands out there because you get a sense that this is not an easy job. That Bond is really up against a very talented apprentice, because this guy has connections with the cyber terrorist. This guy has who knows how many connections, and he is able to sneak past him easily, put on disguises. He's just easy to get. He can just outsmart Bond or just like get ahead of him. It's just, and you see all these crowds of people, you really see the difficulty of the situation when trying to track him down. It's also well shot. The angles are beautiful. The lighting is great. It just looks beautiful. And also when you see the action, it's great. I mean, the action scenes are fantastic. What else do I have to say? I mean, the final showdown in Skyfall is epic, and then it's the opening scene is undeniably one of my favorites. Also, the one in the casino. There's a great, of course, it's also well edited, but I mean, that's kind of almost like to expect when you have great action scenes. You need to have great cinematography and editing, and also, there's a lot of things that rely on it, but the ones that stand out to me the most are the cinematography and editing. You just need to see the action, and it needs to know when to cut. And that's just awesome. I love it. I also was really impressed with, it also expands on the character of Bond, gives him more of his backstory, and you really, like all this mystery you have about the character, you learn more about him. Not only, because you go to his home, to his birthplace, his birth home. It's fantastic. Also the chemistry between Bond and M is fantastic, especially in the final minutes. I have to say, when the movie starts introducing the villain, I think it actually moves a lot faster after that. It's a well-paced movie, don't get me wrong. The length never bothered me at all. But also, it actually picks up a lot faster from what I can remember. It's great. There's a lot of great set pieces. I mean, shit. And also, like in the subway train, like where Javier Bardem caused that explosion, the train just falls through there. Oh my god! And the courthouse. Oh yeah, that's epic. I mean, there's just so many great action scenes. The movie just never lets up. It moves along so well. But even the scenes in between the action scenes, or the most suspenseful moments, are still intriguing. I mean, really, I'm amazed by it. And I'd say the villain really is very smart. Like, I mean, like with a cyber terrorist, with him being a cyber hacker, it's just amazing what he can do and how he can outsmart MI6. Ben Whishaw as Q, he has a lot of good scene-stealing moments. His introduction is also pretty funny, also pretty good. There's a lot of good humor in the movie. And also some of my favorite lines. Because you still have spots. You know, it's nice seeing the Aston Martin DB5 in that movie. It's also cool to see like he doesn't have a lot of gadgets. He has an old radio transmitter and a gun that reads his fingerprint. I mean, it's so simple, but I mean, that's the thing about it. Who cares about the gadgets? It's cool, don't get me wrong, but it's not the gadgets. It's more of the story and the characters that really help the series, that really help this series of films, and it helps them stand out more. Who cares about all the cool stuff you get? Whatever. It's cool. And the homages to the Bond films, they're done very well. I like them. You know, if you're I mean, I never really caught on to a lot of them, but if you're a Bond fan, you'll obviously enjoy it. But I mean, if you've already seen the film, you're probably happy with it. Now, do I have any problems with this film? Very, very few. Also, I just don't have a lot of flaws with this movie. Very, very few and far between. I can't stress that enough. There's also a very emotional story in there. Like, some of the scenes, like, I mean, it's a great send-off for M, and it's a very heartfelt thing. There are going to be, of course, there could be some minor spoilers, there could be some major spoilers, who knows. I mean, Judi Dench's character arc, greater this time around, and it's a great conclusion to her character. I thought it was very fitting, it's emotional, and it works well. There's great emotion in the movie as well. This movie has just so many great things. It's more than just an excellent action film, it's an excellent film. It's one of my favorite Bond films. It's one of the best films. It's not only one of the best action films this decade so far. Not only one of the best films of 2012. It's one of the best films of this decade so far. I'm not kidding. I love it that much. It has an excellent script, great dialogue, great acting, an excellent villain in Raul Silva, excellent action scenes, good cinematography, good editing, and overall, it's just one hell of a Bond film. It's one that you never forget, and one that stuck with me that still sticks with me weeks after rewatching it. I absolutely loved it. It's not only great, it's also fantastic. It's also a perfect celebration of the 50 years Bond has been around. This series. Even though Skyfall wasn't the best follow-up to Skyfall, I'm still hoping for something more. I hope for something a little better, like with the next installment. You know, if this was the conclusion to all the Bond films, this would have been perfect. Because I don't think even if they made like another perfect, like a 5 out of 5 Bond film like After Spectre, I don't know if it could try. I don't think it could beat Skyfall. I mean that. But whatever. We got what we got, and it wasn't terrible. But this is perfect. I love this movie. Skyfall gets a 5 out of 5. I absolutely love this movie. Excellent action, great characters, great performances, a very emotional story. And it just expands upon the characters. It's a great celebration of the 50 years of this franchise. Love it. And you guys comment below, what did you think of Skyfall? What is your favorite Bond film? I don't know, I'm debating between this and Casino Royale. What's your favorite Bond theme? You know what mine is. Adele, Skyfall. Who's your favorite Bond villain? I'm still debating. Comment below. Subscribe to the channel for more videos.